Hey, you old hag! Get out of my way! Please, Cha, I'm just washing. Washing? You're just making a mess.
Why are you so cruel?
Take this, you wrinkled fool! Why do you even come here? Do you think anyone cares about an old hag like you?
How dare you speak to me like that, you insolent child? Words have weight, child. Some things you cannot take back.
I don't care what you say.
Amma sleeps, and in her dream an old woman appears, sprinkling her with magical pink dust. But the dream turns into a nightmare, and Amma wakes up with her eyes wide open.
The old woman's curse, it's working. I see host! This can't be real! No, please!
Dusk falls on the village, and the mist rises. Pale figures glide through walls surrounding her. The supernatural awakens in the shadows.
What is this? What am I seeing? Help, Annie! Help me! Running! What is this? What am I seeing? Help! Help me! Help me! Don't beat me! Help! Help me!
Amma walked into the room. Her eyes went wide.
On the bed, a ghostly couple glow embracing.
Amma froze. Her hand covered her mouth in shock. The ghost turned and looked right at her.
Them born now with a silver spoon, you know. Mama spoil and money just the flow.
Money they flow.
She dey waka with her shoulder high, oh. No respect for anybody, she be boss, so.
She be bosso.
Now the cause don't come, her eyes they open. Everywhere she turn, now ghosts they follow.
Cause they follow.
No more laughing, only fear inside her solo. Now she dey dance with spirit, she don't lose control, oh.
In the heart of a small, dusty village, there lived a woman named Amma, whose heart ached in a way no one could see. For years, she had prayed and pleaded with the gods, with elders, even with the winds themselves, for a child. Every month, she would rise before dawn, pour libations by the river, and whisper promises into the air. She promised to give everything she had for just one child to call her own. Her neighbors whispered behind their hands. Some said Amma's longing had gone too far, that she was desperate and ridiculous, but she didn't care. Every sound of children playing in the village pierced her like a blade. Amma tried everything, the herbs the old women prescribed, the chants, the special foods, but months turned to years and nothing changed. Still, she refused to give up, believing that her child was out there somewhere, waiting to come to her. Then, one stormy night, as the rains beat against the tin roof and the wind howled, Amma felt something shift inside her. For the first time in years, a deep, sure warmth spread through her chest. She knew, without a doubt, her prayers had been answered. The village buzzed with news of Amma's pregnancy. Some scoffed, others quietly rejoiced with her. But inside, Amma felt a mix of joy and fear. The weight of expectation pressed on her like never before. Her body ached constantly, and some nights she would lie awake, clutching her swollen belly, whispering apologies to her unborn child. Midwives visited often, shaking their heads at her anxious questions and her strict adherence to old customs and rituals. The closer she got to her due date, the more impatient Amma became. She imagined holding the warmth of life she had longed for. Finally, after a night of struggle that seemed endless, Amma gave birth to a baby girl. The cries were music to her ears. She held her daughter close and swore she would protect her, cherish her, and give her the life she never had. But even in those first golden days, Amma's joy was tinged with worry. She wanted her daughter to be perfect. She whispered commands and praised certain behaviors, even in her tiny child. Amma's love was fierce, but it was also tangled. Efua was the center of her world. As the only child, she was wrapped in layers of love, attention, and, unintentionally, indulgence. Every cry and every small achievement was magnified, celebrated as though the whole village depended on her happiness. Amma's neighbors whispered about how spoiled Efua was becoming, but Amma would wave them off with a proud smile. As Efua grew, she quickly learned that tears could bend her mother's heart and demands could bend the rules. The villagers began to notice that Efua had a sharp tongue and a quick temper, traits her mother seemed to overlook. Amma watched with pride. "She is strong," Amma would say. No one can tell her what to do, but that's a gift, not a flaw. By the time she was 8, everyone knew her name. She would throw tantrums and snatch fruits from the market stalls. Alma often shook her head but never punished her. She's special. She knows what she wants, she would mutter. Efua had no interest in advice. I know better, she would snap, flicking her hair and walking away whenever someone tried to teach her. Teachers complained that she talked back, mocked students, and refused to follow instructions. Yet Amma would praise her spirit. In that home, rules were optional, respect was negotiable, and the girl learned that the world existed to serve her desires. By the time Efua was 12, her reputation had grown like wildfire. Villagers would sigh whenever they saw her skipping through the paths. She tossed her head proudly, daring anyone to challenge her. She mocked the old women and teased boys who couldn't keep up. Efua took a particular joy in pushing people's patience. Once she splashed mud all over an elder's freshly cleaned porch. She would grin as the old man sputtered. Amma, watching from the doorway, would clap softly, whispering that she was clever. Neighbors whispered among themselves, shaking their heads at her wild ways. But Efua only grew bolder with no consequences to stop her. Amma's pride blinded her. She believed that one day Efua's boldness would shine into greatness, even if it left the village exhausted. As Efua grew into her teenage years, her boldness became legend. In school, she openly challenged teachers and laughed at the rules. In the village, she strutted through the streets like she owned them, tossing insults at anyone who dared look at her. Amma never scolded her. Instead, she said, "Don't let anyone control you, Efua. You're too special for their small minds." By now, the villagers had stopped trying to reason with her. They whispered warnings about how dangerous it was to anger her. Efua basked in her mother's pride. In her mind, she was untouchable, justified in treating the world as if it existed to entertain her. Her teenage boldness quickly became a burden. She would tease the blacksmith until he flared up in anger, laughing as sparks flew. She'd mock the women at the well, imitating their gestures, and sending buckets of water spilling onto the dry ground. Even her peers couldn't escape. She picked fights with the strongest boys and spread rumors about quiet girls. The children learned to hide when they saw her coming, fearing her unpredictable behavior and sharp tongue. Amma saw a brilliant strategist. "She's teaching them lessons," she would say proudly. "They'll respect her one day." Efua thrived on the reactions. The more people avoided or scolded her, the more daring and audacious she became. She began crossing lines that even the bravest feared. One afternoon, she overturned baskets of yams at the market. Another time, she sneaked into the school kitchen and dumped chili powder into the stew meant for the teachers. No one dared stop her. Even when the elders confronted Amma, she simply insisted that her daughter was exceptional. Efua, overhearing these whispers, only grinned. She believed the world existed to entertain her every whim. At home, she ignored chores, screamed at servants, and demanded gifts. Her sense of entitlement grew stronger every day. By now, Efua wasn't just spoiled, she was feared. Her laughter made men scowl, and her audacity had no limits. Village life revolved around avoiding her. Yet Amma still saw only brilliance in her only child, unaware of the storm brewing. By now, Efua's presence had become almost unbearable for everyone around her. Villagers crossed paths with her cautiously, whispering warnings to their children. "Don't get too close. She'll humiliate you." Even those who once tried to guide her gave up, shaking their heads at the girl who ignored advice. Efua took particular delight in embarrassing others. She would enter the village square in a rush, toss a bucket of water over a passerby just to see them sputter. At school, she mocked anyone who dared answer a question wrong, and the teacher's patience wore thin, but she was always one step ahead. Amma, instead of discouraging her, encouraged the behavior. "She's clever," Amma would tell visitors. "She knows how to challenge the world." By the time she turned 15, Efua was no longer just a mischievous child, she was a storm, leaving every adult and neighbor exhausted and weary. One afternoon, Efua wandered down to the village stream. She saw an old woman sitting by the water's edge, her hair long and white, her back bent. Efua, full of pride and mischief, marched up and sneered. "Why do you even come here?" she demanded. "Do you think anyone cares about an old hag like you?" The old woman didn't flinch. She looked at Efua with steady, tired eyes. "Words have weight, child," she said quietly. "Some things you cannot take back." Efua laughed, tossing her head. "I say what I want. Who will stop me?" She strutted away, leaving the woman by the stream. But that night, something strange began. In the quiet of her room, shadows moved where none should be. The air felt colder. She began seeing figures where she shouldn't, ghostly shapes cooking in the fields, fetching water by the river, even passing through walls. But then she saw something that froze her blood, a ghostly couple, unmistakably intimate, lying on her own bed as if claiming it. Efua screamed. The couple vanished the moment she blinked, but the terror stayed. Her world, once full of mischief and confidence, began to crack. Every corner of her home seemed alive with ghostly presences. She saw pale hands reaching for the water at the stream, and always the couple on her bed. Sleep became a battlefield. She would lie awake, heart hammering, staring at the ceiling, waiting for the inevitable. She tried to tell her mother, but Amma dismissed it. "You're imagining things," she said. "You've been reading too many stories." People began avoiding her, whispering that she had gone mad, that the spirits had finally caught up to her. One night, she returned home and froze. There on her bed was the ghostly couple again. They moved with an eerie, intimate closeness. I can't. This isn't real." She stammered, stumbling back. But when she blinked, they were still there, clinging to her like a shadow. The girl who once ruled the village with arrogance was now a prisoner of fear, hunted by forces she had unknowingly challenged. After weeks of running, Efua finally collapsed one night by the stream. Exhausted and soaked from rain, she whispered, "I can't live like this anymore." She remembered the old woman and realized that her insults and pride had awakened something beyond her understanding. From that night on, Efua began to change. She tried to be kinder, to apologize to those she had humiliated, and to listen when elders spoke. The ghosts didn't disappear completely. She still saw them sometimes, reminders of what she had done. But now she faced them with respect. Efua's life was far from perfect, but for the first time, she felt a small sense of control and the first true stirrings of responsibility. Sometimes, late at night, when the wind whispered through the trees, Efua would smile faintly, knowing she had learned to live alongside them.